4, 3. Welcome, everybody, to Bird's Nest Stadium here in beautiful Georgetown, Kentucky, on a gorgeous Friday night here in mid-September for Scott County football. I haven't been able to say that in almost a month. It was 4 weeks ago that we saw the one and only home game so far for the Cardinals. They have played a brutal schedule so far and have took a road loss last week at Bryant Station. A big showdown with arguably the best 6A team outside of Louisville, that being the Lexington-based Defenders, 25-21, two touchdowns late in the game. Turned the tide in that one, but SC coming in with that uncharacteristic 1-2 record, looking to get on track against another 6A opponent from Lexington, the Paul Lawrence Dunbar Bulldogs. They come in with a record of 1-3. As we said in the news graphic this morning, it is not your big brother's Bulldogs team that Scott County ran over, around, and through for about 20 consecutive years. This is a Dunbar team that went to semi-state last year in 6A, and they have made positive strides in now the fourth season under Coach Wes Johnson. So Scott County won't have a pushover opponent, but it's certainly a manageable one as they look ahead and hopefully not look too far ahead to a trip to Frederick Douglass next week. SC has gotten back to doing what it does best, which is run the football, mixing in the play action pass to Jeremy Hamilton quite a bit with some success and a win at Lafayette, and then the game at Bryant Station as well. Montego Jones has been carrying the rock the last 2 weeks. They got a little bit away from that, did the Cardinals, in the opener against Franklin County. That was a tough night, but things have turned around a little bit. They've had to move some people around due to injuries, particularly on the offensive line, but the Cards will get stronger as the season goes along. You can bet on that, and of course, the schedule is challenging. They've got great crossing beyond that. The Warhawks have yet to lose a game. And then later in October, Cards go to Ballard and go to Lexington Catholic, both teams ranked in their respective classes. So no easy ones as we go forward for SC, beginning with tonight's game against the Dunbar Bulldogs. We mentioned Dunbar's record. It is certainly deceiving, you can say. They've lost to Woodford County 62-12. Woodford's having its best season in recent memory, if not ever. And then Douglas 56-13 last week. They had a loss to Madison Central before that, 34-24. Their only win was over Breathitt County. Last minute fill in there, and they hung 69 points on Breathitt, 69-28 victory. So Dunbar coming in, they like to throw the ball. They have a quarterback who's a double threat to do that in Cole Colony. He has been their leading rusher as well as able to strike through the air. So Scott County secondary, which has picked off 4 passes in the past 2 games, will have some opportunities to go get the ball again, but they will have to be wary of that Dunbar passing game. We will be bringing in Scotty Sutton momentarily due to the commentary, but we have another member of the Sutton family here you might know, Sam Sutton, recent Cardinal. Sam, good to have you back. You said this is your first visit to Bird's Nest Stadium. What do you think?
Yes, sir. It's great to be back. This is a beautiful place. It's just really exciting to see the Cardinals in person again.
Yeah, you have not had a chance. I guess you were at the Bryant Station game last week, weren't you? What did you think of the Cardinals' performance? They had every reason to believe they coulda, woulda, shoulda pulled that one out.
I think we just kind of shot ourselves in the foot multiple times. I thought we were in control a lot of the game. Had a huge pick by Danny Armstrong. A muffed punt kills you. A fumble kills you. And then even with all those mistakes, you come down at the end. If you get that sack on 4th down, game's over.
Right. The quarterback just kind of ran for his life until he found a seam there.
And that's just a super tough way to lose a game. But I think the Cards will bounce back in a big way.
You mentioned a lot of mistakes. The other one that comes to mind is flinching on 4th and inches with a chance to kind of put the game away. Yep. Also was a tough one. But, yeah, those games are only going to make you better. Coach McKee has stacked the schedule for a reason. He's not backed off from that one iota over these last couple of years, and we will see how they fare against another 6A opponent tonight. It's been a while since they played Dunbar. They beat them 53-8 on the road back in 2018. Took a couple of years off from that. As we know, for many years, some of these Lexington opponents didn't really want to play Scott County. Nope. You're familiar with that, I'm sure.
They did not.
It's tough to find people close to home that want to take their lumps against the Cardinals, but credit Dunbar. They're on an upswing in their program. They kind of were in that mix with Bryant Station last year. They had a memorable third-round playoff game, and they were able to pull that one out. And I can't remember if they went to Trinity or St. X in the semifinals and get pretty well thrashed. But if you can get to the Final Four in 6A,
that's huge.
You're doing something. So
I'm glad you mentioned, a good schedule we still have, because it's very easy to schedule just cupcakes every week and get W's and stack W's up. But if you want to be competitive in the playoffs, you need to challenge yourself early. And I think that's what Scott County's been doing. Yeah, there are different trains of thought depending on where you are in your program's trajectory, certainly. And Coach McKee has never, at one point this year, they were scheduled to go to Elder again. Yep. And then Lexcath kind of came forward and said, no, we'll play you. And so the Elder. And that's still a big game. Lexcath is starting off 4-0.
Yeah, the Holy War is tonight, 2 4-0 teams playing there. So it's going to be football's good in Lexington right now. Bryant Station certainly on the upswing. It's been a long time since they had been able to hang in with Scott County until these last couple of years, and they finally pick up the W. But Dunbar, as we said, on an upswing, and the two private schools, one of them will be 5-0 after night. And, of course, we will see next week when Scott County goes to Frederick Douglass. It's always the game that Douglass marks on its calendar, but in the same way, Scott County's got a chance to prove itself right off the bat there in the first district game.
Oh yeah,
so it'll be fun.
It's good to see Lexington football get better and come back to the ways they used to be. They've been down the last however many years. It was kind of a Douglass one-man show, but
before that it was a Lafayette one-man
show, and before that it was a Henry Clay one-man show. That's right. So it's good to see multiple teams in the area, better their football program.
And we will have, of course, 2 weeks from tonight will be the next game, and that's the one a lot of you have all been waiting for, I'm sure. Scott County will take on the Great Crossing Warhawks. Great Crossing is at Bourbon County tonight. 2 undefeated teams there. Great Crossing trying to go 5-0. Bourbon County looking to go 3-0. We'll have updates from that one as the Cardinals take the field.
Really looking forward to that Great Crossing game, Cal.
Yeah, it's, the gap closed a little bit last year. There's certainly people on both sides that think their team's going to have the upper hand, and we all can't wait to see how it plays out. As you said, certainly strength of schedule will be a factor. Great Crossing has some confidence and has some athletes, and we will see how that plays out on the night of October the 1st. It'll be good to have fans back in this stadium. It'll be very similar, if not even more so, more crowded than it was for the VGO Battle of Elkhorn Creek a month ago.
Speaking of fans, we got a almost close to packed crowd tonight.
We do. We've got some kids with football uniforms. The it must be middle school night here. We've seen some Royal Spring and some Scott County middle jerseys.
Beautiful night for football. So
yeah, it is.
Glad to see the crowds out.
It was weird. About an hour and a half ago, there was almost not a cloud in the sky, but it was still raining somehow. But that has passed, and it is just about nothing but blue sky and the sun setting behind us here, behind the church and behind the beautiful farmland here out on this, I guess you could say, west side of G-Town. Dunbar will be kicking off. They flipped the coin before the game with only the 2 coaches in attendance now with all the COVID protocols. It will be Jeremy Hamilton and Thomas Fikert, 2 big components of the Scott County running game, back to receive. They're just going to take that minute off the clock and get going. We're never disappointed to see that. Start a little bit early.
Jeremy and Thomas they're up a little bit, up on the 10. Must have a scouting report on this kicker.
A lot of kickers kicking it short, as we have seen so far this year. We'll see what Dunbar. Yeah, they're going to angle it towards the sideline. It'll be taken at the 28. Campton Martin, good to see him back in the game, and he is a weapon. They might not want to kick to him. He scored in about every conceivable fashion last year, and he gets it into Dunbar territory to start the game at the 46.
Cal, it's been great talking to you.
Been good seeing you again, Sam. Take it easy.
Showed up. Here he is.
The elder generation of Suttons has arrived.
Suck and win.
Man of many hats, Scotty Sutton is here to join us. We'll let him collect his breath and collect his thoughts. They mark it at the 47. Andrew Hickey is the quarterback. He's a freshman who's gotten better every week. Montego Jones is the fullback. The wings are Hamilton and Fikert. Fikert in motion quickly. The give is up the middle to Jones, and Tago takes it to the 40. Good gain on first down.
That's always been Scott County's bread and butter.
Yeah, we talked about that they got away from it a little bit against Franklin County, but the games that we haven't seen, at least in person, I've watched a little bit on film, and they have gotten back to doing what they do best. Second and a long 3. Fikert in motion again. Hickey will give it to Hamilton this time. Hamilton room off left tackle. He will get the first down as he gets taken down at about the 33. Tackle made by Dunbar's J.T. Seltsom.
Got the first down there, but he had a couple blockers out in front.
I thought maybe if he could have made one move, he would have been to the house, but it would be a first down at the 32 of the Bulldogs. Less than a minute into this one. Scott County got that. As the season goes on, too, they get that tempo going a little faster with this offense, and it becomes even more dangerous. Hickey under center. Now he signals Fikert in motion. Hands it off to Campton Martin, his first carry of the game. First carry in 4 weeks. He'll take it wide and out of bounds. He'll only gain a couple at about not quite at the 30, so call it a gain of 1, 2nd and 9. Good to see Campton back out there. Of course, he is one of the super seniors that reclassified to the class of 22, so he could take advantage of the extra COVID year.
Yeah, we saw him get hurt on that
first play
of the game. Yeah,
awful way to start it out when you have so many expectations for that extra year. Straight up the middle to Tago. Lots of room. He could have driven a truck through that. He will zigzag left, and he will get tripped up just shy of the goal line. It'll be first and goal from the 1 as Tago takes it 30 yards. Chances are he'll get a chance to finish the work. They'll mark it at the 2, so call it a gain of 29 for Montego Jones. He is a load to take down when he gets ahead of steam, 5'11", 195. He didn't play much on offense in the opener. I think they thought they were going to get away with playing him only at linebacker this year, but the offense is best when he is pounding the rock. 90 seconds gone. Scott County threatening to score. Hickey, quarterback sneak. Is he in? Waiting for the signal. Looks like it's a touchdown for the freshman.
And that's just a super drive right there by Scott County.
Authoritative.
You know what I'm so impressed with, even though this is the first time we've seen him back since that opener, the offensive line just firing off the ball. Longtime offensive line coach Scott Willard, you know, you can just see the improvement from that game to this game. Terrific drive.
Willard's been around a long time. Of course, 500 wins on the baseball diamond or something like that now. And, of course, many, many years as a right-hand man for Coach Jim McKee, former head coach himself in the football ranks as well. A little delay here, bringing a new ball into play. Jacob Bange is perfect on PATs, and I've just jinxed him. I believe he's 10 for 10, 10 for 10 on the season. Kick is up, and it is good. Actually, it's Ian Stanley tonight, so Bange might be injured. So the Cardinals stay perfect. Another soccer player in there. So Andrew Hickey gets the 2-yard touchdown on the quarterback sneak, set up by some good runs, notably the 29-yarder for Montego Jones, and it is Scott County 7. PLD zip.
You know, you were talking about that extra point right there. Last night I'm watching the Redskins and the Giants, and right as he missed that field goal, I flipped it off, and I didn't even see today till they had called offsides.
You can never wait. Somebody either calls a late timeout or – Okay, Bange is wearing Stanley's jersey tonight, so it is Bange on the PAT, wearing 94. It's good to know. He is 11 for 11 kicking the PATs now. He'll get a chance to kick off here as Dunbar will get its first possession tonight, and we'll see Coach Monty McIntyre's defense for the first time. They've had some takeaways these past couple of weeks. The offense has given it away a few times in its own right, but 4 interceptions, and against a Dunbar team that likes to air it out, that could bode well for SC. I mentioned the quarterback for Dunbar is Mr. Cole Colony. We'll look at his statistics over 4 games. This team has averaged 30 points a game, but that's skewed by that 69-28 win over Breathitt County in the opener. Kick goes deep, taken at the 9. Seam up the middle. He spins across the 30, taken down there. Noah Chapman on the return for the Bulldogs. Well covered by the Cardinals, and Dunbar will take over. Sean Rowe made the tackle. Dunbar will take possession at its 34. Cole Colony, 80, 527 yards and 4 TDs, Scotty.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see this running back too, Robinson. He's really
the real deal.
Terrific, yeah, six TDs already.
Colony's been the leading rusher in terms of yardage, but Robinson's been right there with him. So you figure they've got to mix it up between the two and that spread. He hands off to Robinson here on first down. Robinson spins free. It's about 4, maybe 5 before he's taken down. It's going to be hard until the sun goes down with this red on black numbers.
Hurrying up by Dunbar here.
Definitely Luke Valencia in there on the tackle along with Elijah Adams. They will run the sweep to the left. Stopped at the 40, well shy of the first down. Good gang tackle there by the Cardinals.
It really was. And, the play before that, they really had nice penetration. You could see some of them, kind of smacking their helmets because they missed a tackle and let him get a gain. But they were in the backfield that time. And then this time, great gang tackling and, for nothing.
Isaac Krebs and Luke Colvin were in on it. It's 3rd and 4 from the 41. Call it a long 3. Colony in the shotgun. Now they will look over to the sideline. Plenty of time left on the play clock. Colony will keep it. He is right at the marker, and a surge second effort will get him the first down at the 46.
And you called it. That's just a terrific second effort. He got stuck short of the line to make, and then kept the legs driving and was able to pick it up for Dunbar.
They were probably where he was initially stopped, would have had to have a measurement, but he made sure he didn't have to deal with that. Now he takes it again and keeps it across midfield. So Colony picking up good yardage. That's a place Scott County's got to find a way to stop because he just gets himself a running start there and gets some momentum churning. No shrinking violet, although he's listed at only 125 pounds as the junior.
That's got to be a typo. He's bigger than that.
I'm going to say he's about 165 by now. He's done some work in the weight room lately. My goodness. He'll keep it again. Fumble. Dunbar, I don't know if they got it back. Did Scott County get itself another takeaway? It did. Who came out of there?
Yeah.
Luke Colvin comes away with the ball, so the forced fumble, I don't even think it was much of a force. It was just coughed up.
2 Cardinals right on top of it. Colvin comes up with it. And, if you're Dunbar right there, you've got to just be thinking, Scott County drives it down our throat the first series, and then we're finally keeping the offense off the field, having a nice drive, and then you give it up at the 50. That's just heartbreaking.
Scott County at its own 47, good field position, and, Colony had some good things happening. That they went to the well once too often there. He coughed it up. Campton Martin on the sweep to the left, finds the corner, a little stiff arm inside the 40, the 30, the 25, pushed out of bounds. They'll call it at the 28, but a good gain for Campton Martin of 25, well into Dunbar territory. So it's good to see that bad wheel is doing fine.
Yeah, that jet sweep, they made him turn it up inside. He made a nice cut and then cuts it back outside. They got him stepping out a little earlier than I thought, but that's still a terrific game.
Vintage Scott County so far, as they have mixed it up with Hamilton, Jones, Martin. We haven't seen Fikert touch the ball yet. Could be coming now. He goes in motion. Hickey will quickly throw it out. It's caught on the sideline there. A little quick pattern to Isaac York. No.
Yeah.
It is Isaac York, yeah. That's I saw that number, and I'm like, that's not what I recognize. He's a freshman. So freshman to freshman there. Scott County, it's not something you see a lot of, although there have been some talented ones in the lineup in recent years. You think of Glenn Covington starting as a freshman and Brian Hudson. Guys of that nature. The pitch It is Fikert this time. He gets the corner inside the 10, the 5, knocked out right at the pylon.
Calling him out.
At the 1.5. So Fikert carries it 20 yards.
We talked about how hard he runs. That's just another example of it. Tall sweep. I'd go right back to him right here.
They have options, does this team. And we saw the quarterback sneak. We don't see that all that often. On the first score, there's Hickey again. He wears Tom Brady's number. That's kind of a Tom Brady thing there. The QB sneak. Just use your height. He's tall for a freshman. 6'1", 160 pounds. It'll be stopped at the 1, though. Second and goal.
That was an excellent job by the defensive line for Dunbar of getting that penetration.
They'll hand it off to Jones, and he will plow in for the score. It was set up by Martin and Fikert. Montego Jones finishes it for a 13-0 lead. The extra point pending.
And just what we said, Scott County doing what Scott County does. Running the wing tee, and that's 2 drives in a row where really Dunbar didn't come close to stopping.
This looks like what we've always come to expect from Scott County. Very efficient. Quick strike out of the wing tee. There's Bange. Misses it. Yep, I did it. He's 11 for 12 on the season now. 13-0 is your score. Montego Jones finds the end zone from a yard out.
And, Cal, I was thinking you were talking about something you don't see very often with Scott County in years past has been those freshmen playing. But I think we're going to see that more and more because
just the sheer numbers. Yeah,
the sheer numbers. And, those guys can come in and contribute, and then that's guys you're going to be able to count on for the next few years.
And as has been pointed out, you see freshmen now, you don't know if they're second-year freshmen or, for a few years, we're not really going to know age-wise whether they're actually a little older than that. So. Scott County up 13 zips, 7:22. To play in the first quarter. Trying to get an update on the Great Crossing game from our man on the scene, Nate Bryan. Crossing gets a 7-0 lead on a touchdown run by Caden Allen. Jesse Fair kicked the PAT. So a good start for the Warhawks as they look to go 5-0 going into their bye week. Scott County will kick it, kind of a squibber to the 27, taken there by Dunbar across the 35. And they will go to work at the 37.
And here's where if you're Dunbar, you can't panic. You got to say, look, what we were doing was working. I know we're down 13-0, but you can't just, all right, now we're going to do something that we don't normally do. Let's go back to doing what we do well. And if you're their coaches, a 7-minute drive here to give your defense some rest and cut it to 13-7 would be just what the doctor orders.
Ellis Hughley and Sean Rowe on that last special teams tackle. But, yeah, you said it. Scott County 2 for 2. And Dunbar was doing some nice things before it turned the ball over. So you just got to stick with your game plan. They've got trips left. Colony with Robinson in the backfield. Robinson will take the handoff and be hit immediately. Number 22 for Scott County is Elijah Adams. He's the leading tackler for the Cardinals, and he'll pad that number with a solo stop. Gain of a yard. Robinson gets credit for the forward momentum there at the 38.
And you see Coach McIntyre is really bringing his linebackers close to the line of scrimmage, and they're knifing in there and causing issues.
Colony will keep it again. There will be a flag coming in from the back, and that is prime holding territory. That will back up the Bulldogs. It'll be second and long. Want to thank our sponsors, Bluegrass Orthopedics, serving athletes of all ages, Georgetown News Graphics, Scott County's 24/7 news force, news-graphic.com. 24/7 news force, news-graphic.com. Galvin's on Main. Stop by before, after the game. Watch the UK game tomorrow, which will not otherwise be easily watched unless you have ESPN Plus on one of their TVs. DMK CPA for your tax and auditing needs, and Brickhouse Properties Real Estate, buying and selling made easy. Dunbar with 2nd and 19 from the 28. Colony will look to throw kind of off the wrong foot, but he finds his man over the middle on the quick slant. Nice ankle tackle there and held on long enough for Elijah Adams to come help. Hamilton made the initial grab.
I see a late flag.
Another flag down.
And that's an unusual spot because it came late.
I don't think it could be a face mask because Hamilton had him by the ankle. Unless it was Adams coming in or unless Dunbar was trying to aid the runner or something. We're still having a conversation. No real indication which way the ball is going to go. They're marking it off against Dunbar. So it's going to be 2nd and forever. Oh, it's a personal foul. It might be a dead ball.
Targeting is what they called. So
it's all the way back at the 17. So Dunbar has got whatever down it is, 2nd or 3rd and 30. That's not what you want if you're the Bulldogs. You're going to be backed up to punt at worst or at best. Colony just going to air it out. It's deep. Man was wide open over the middle, but he overthrew him. Hamilton, a little miscommunication as Hamilton and Armstrong talking it over. Armstrong, the younger player, getting a little bit of a lecture from the senior Hamilton there.
And Coach McIntyre is going to bring him out and talk to him a little bit because they had a double coverage on the far sideline, but a guy was streaking right down the middle wide open.
Mentioned Armstrong had a big pick last week, and Hamilton had a huge catch. We said it kind of got overshadowed on the 11 o'clock news by Zachary Kelly, but he made a nice grab in his own right in the end zone to really put Scott County in a position to win that game. It's one that I think maybe later in the year might be a different story as this team continues to gain momentum. Clock stopped with 6:06 to go in the first quarter in the incomplete pass, and now the clock stops again. Is Dunbar wanting a timeout or is Scott County? Dunbar will want a timeout. They are punting from deep in their own end, 4th and 29. We'll talk about some more of our fine sponsors here on the Bird's Nest Broadcast Network. Chick-fil-A, home of the original chicken sandwich. Toyota Motor Manufacturing of Kentucky. Clark's Pump and Shop, return, refresh, refuel. Check out one of their 3 Georgetown locations. Georgetown Community Hospital, where your health and safety remain their number one priority. West Banco, by all accounts, better. Greens Toyota of Lexington. We want to say West Banco, by the way, is the sponsor of tonight's Player of the Game trophy. Greens Toyota of Lexington, great people, great cars. Think Greens. Ozer Paint and Flooring, your hometown paint and flooring connection. Scott County Veterinary Clinic loves and treats your pets like their own. Come join the SC Veterinary Clinic family and People's Bank, working together, building success. Come see People's Bank at 101 Canewood Center Drive. Dunbar to punt. No choice on 4th and 30 from their own 17. Low rugby punt, and it didn't do the job. He's going to take a soccer dive there and try to draw the flag. It didn't work. And it was not much of a punt and not a good Dunbar bounce. It'll be about a net 16-yarder, maybe not even that. Cardinals will take over at the Dunbar 33. The officials are going to say it was partially blocked, so that nullifies the running into the kicker.
Yeah, he immediately looked at the head official and gave the deflection.
He's given the deflection sign. 5:56, and Scott County really with a chance to pile up a huge early lead here. They already are in control 13-zip. They're 33 yards away from pay dirt. Going into their end zone, the Cardinals' red and blue end zone here. Closest to US 460. Going from right to left on your computer screen or radio dial or whatever you want to call it tonight. Thank you for joining us. Hickey will hand off. Nope. He will fake it twice and he'll get sacked. He probably should have handed it off as Dunbar came in and read it. John Law, 5'11 senior, 170 pounds.
Well, and how many times have you seen Scott County when they've just been running it down a team's throat and then they go with that play action and you got a guy wide open? But in that situation, that's what they went to, but he just didn't have time to sit and see anybody downfield.
McKee will be the first one to criticize himself, too. If this drive doesn't go anywhere, he'll say, that was a terrible play call by me on 1st and 10, because he probably normally would just give it to Tago. Jeremy Hamilton can make it up in a hurry. He will break one tackle. He will elude another, get inside the 25 and close to a first down. Depends on where they mark it. So Hamilton picks up 17 right at the stick, maybe a link short.
Got a flag down, Cal.
Oh, no, that's not gonna. It's gonna be wiped out possibly. May have been a hold as Hamilton kind of sidestepped a would-be tackler. There was a Cardinal there. They'll mark it off from the spot, which would have been the 29. So, yeah, it's pretty much going to be a wash. It will be back at the 39 now. So the holding penalty. It'll still be second down. They may gain a yard or two out of the exchange.
And I tell you, watching that run by Jeremy just brought back so many memories of seeing his older brother. The way he just seems to glide out there. You know, here comes a tackler. No, you're not going to tackle me. I'm going to stick out the stiff arm, and he just keeps on going.
He just looks so smooth.
Yeah.
There's a huge hole again for Tago up inside the 30 to the 27. Took two men to bring him down. As Dunbar was there with 22 and 26, Delane Smith and Julian Hyden.
And I love that play call. You know, it's second and long. You don't have to panic. We're going to go with our bread and butter, just right up the gut. And you get 10, 15 yards, and now it's third and manageable.
That's the great thing for Scott County is that's not a down where they have to panic. They always have a fullback who's capable of grinding it out. 3rd and 3 from the 27. Andrew Hickey under center, hands off to Tago. Not straight up the middle, but he cut back inside, has the first down and more as he will get to the 16. So another strong gain of 11 for Montego Jones. This is a different offense with Montego Jones back there. It's just more authoritative, and they just keep you on your heels, do the Cardinals. First down at the Dunbar 16. SC threatening to go up big by 3 scores. Game is tied at 7 over in Perry as Bourbon County responds quickly. Luke Colvin in the game as a running back. Haven't seen a lot of him on the two-way side of things this year, but he gets stopped for a loss.
Super job by the Dunbar defense that time. Knifed in, made a nice tackle, a sure tackle for a loss of a couple.
He is back there again as the fullback. They will instead hand it off on the sweep. Campton Martin taken down at the 5. So Martin has had some long, impressive gains to this side of the field. It's a first down and goal with 3:18 to play. The clock will stop as he's taken out of bounds.
That was an outstanding block right there. Lead block by Owen Hamilton. Got out in front, this big sophomore.
Talking about some young guys that are playing in some big roles. We mentioned Luke Valencia's name already. We've mentioned the freshman on the connection early. Now Owen Hamilton with a block there. First and goal, they'll hand it off to Fikert. Fikert will find a seam off right tackle and get bumped into the end zone. Touchdown, Scott County. I don't think the clock moved on that play. 3:13 to go.
And they're going to go for 2 here. And we've said it over and over about how hard Fikert runs. That's another example of it. I thought he might get it seemed to me like he was clearly in the end zone when he got popped.
I was going to say, he got popped a little late momentum there from the Bulldogs.
Foul, but
maybe the whistle didn't come soon enough. They will go for 2. Chase the points a little bit, call timeout. McKee didn't like what he saw from the formation.
Not happy. But we talked about it, when in the first half, usually coaches don't mind too bad taking a timeout to get what they want. Obviously, with the missed extra point, you want to come back, try to go for 2 here and get it back up to the normal 21 zip. So after a little bit of a chewing here, I would say then he'll figure out what they want to call and get them in the right place and go from there. And he's still looking for – finally he gets
Yeah, Yeah, we haven't mentioned Logan Jones, usually a defensive contributor at the very least, also capable of playing some offense, is in a walking boot on the sideline and street clothes. So we won't see him tonight.
They brought in Luke Colvin. I saw Coach McKee bring him in just for this play. Well, you know what I'm saying.
A little extra tight end or offensive lineman here. They'll run a sweep, and Hamilton will punch it in for the 2. 21 zip. Been pretty easy so far, and they ran to Colvin's side.
Yeah, and the coaching staff still doesn't seem to be too happy, but they got it in. But yeah, that was a good play.
5-yard touchdown run for Thomas Fikert, set up by Campton Morton and Montego Jones. Jeremy Hamilton runs for the 2. And it's all Cardinals so far, 21 zip.
And if you're Dunbar's football staff, this is exactly what you didn't want. You get off the bus and there's 3:13 to go in the first quarter and you're already down 3 scores. It's just not what you wanted.
Interesting first quarter at the other game, tied 7-7 at the end of that period. The Great Crossing defense has not been on the field in the entire game. They've had 2 long drives, have the Warhawks sandwiched around a kick return. So certainly probably arguably the best aspect of that team has not seen the field. The Colonels have gotten away with one there. Christian Rodriguez kicking off. He's number 73.
That's a big boy kicker right there.
Gotta love the lineman number. Remember, we used to have Alberto Campos do some of the kickoffs.
Yeah, it's all
similar
on Scott County. Right side was clearly about 2 steps past the 40 when
they'll have to retry.
There's a flag on the field.
Whistle dead. They'll walk back 5 yards, and they'll walk back much more than 5 yards as they had run halfway down the field before they heard the whistles, and they'll do it again.
And Cal, has he been kicking off all year?
No, I don't know. They announced Stanley because that kicker was wearing Stanley's number, and then they corrected it to say Bange, and I don't know. I would think Bange, if it were Bange, I would think he'd be kicking off and wearing his own number.
Right.
So
because you get the timing of a kickoff.
Soccer team has been busy this week. They've had low numbers this year, and they've got a 3-match and 5-day stretch. They've got one tomorrow, so it may be a situation where someone's either a little banged up or shorthanded. We don't know. But Christian Rodriguez doing the kickoff duties tonight. He's got a good strong leg. He boots this one to the 13, even with the penalty. Dunbar will take it up to the 30, where they get stacked up. Bulldogs will go to work at the 31 with 3:06 to play in the opening quarter. Scott County in command, 21 zip, looking to get to the 500 mark. Their win was a shutout at Lafayette, 41 zip. But
I think I read a tweet from you earlier this week that said this is a team nobody's going to want to play down the stretch.
No, there's no question.
There's just too much winning tradition and
too much talent.
They've got too much talent. That's exactly right. They're well coached, and come playoff time, they're going to be
quick out to the Dunbar sideline, and the Bulldogs will get it close to the marker. Cole Colony completing that pass. He hasn't been able to complete many in this game. Shaheem Drew, 10th catch of the season. They'll go with a hurry up. 2nd and 1. Colony will keep it himself. Gets stopped at the line. Again, surges forward. Still might be short by a half a yard, maybe less.
I think they're going to give it to him. They stopped the clock.
Yeah.
And
they gave him forward progress to the 41. Couldn't tell by the side judge coming in.
And, if you're watching, you may be saying to yourself, why are they, hustling? You want to take some time off the clock. But if this is what Dunbar does, you got to stick with it.
Exactly. We talk so much about Scott County on opening night, how you can't get away from being yourself. just because you're down 21-zip.
And here 5 wide.
And he'll keep it himself with 5 wide, will Colony, and only gain a couple. Stacked up at the 43 by a flock of Cardinals. Jasante Harmon's been in on a few of those stops and in on this one as well. When they converge in the middle in those black uniforms with the red numbers, we can't honestly tell you who all is involved. Shotgun snap, plenty of time to throw over the middle. Good tall target out there.
Oh, nice play.
Broken up nicely by Armstrong.
Well, and what I love about that, Cal, is that was the exact same play a few moments ago when they didn't cover it. That time they come back over the middle, and he's there to make the play and break it up. So there's a young kid who's learning.
Shaheem Drew is 6'5". Danny Armstrong is 5'10", but Danny won that battle. 3rd and 8. And another passing down for Dunbar. Colony under duress, but he set up the screen nicely. It's going to be stopped short at the 48. Coming in to help make the tackle.
Like Colvin.
Yeah, it is Colvin. Also, Cam Keller was in the middle of it.
It's a big 4th down here for Dunbar.
They're going to go for it. Don't have much choice. They'll run it wide. They will get the first down to the corner and a little more before he steps out of bounds.
And that's a good thing because he may have been gone.
Yeah, he had some daylight after that. The ball will be marked at the Scott County 48. So last time Dunbar got into Scott County territory, the only other time, Colony coughed it up right about where they are now. It's a new fresh set of downs with 1:41 remaining first quarter. Colony will keep it straight up the middle again. It's a good way to get the ball stripped away with all those black jerseys swarming at you, but he will gain 3. Do a lot of switching up. They've got get some good rotations going here on defense, keeping some fresh bodies in there as Colvin comes to the sideline. A little rollout for Colony, finds his man, tight end, breaks a couple of tackles. It's going to take 2 or 3 to bring him down. Now he coughed it up. They're going to say the turf caused the ball to come out, and it will be a first down at the Scott County 36. So Dunbar doing some nice things in the passing game now.
That was a very nice play. You know, a boot, hit your tight end out of the backfield, and then tough running right there. Broke a couple tackles. That's outstanding. Coach McIntyre wants to take a timeout and talk about it.
Great crossing caps its second long touchdown drive of the game with a Caleb Perry 4-yard run. 14-7 Warhawks, 8:59 to go in the half, and presumably, unless they run back the kick or fumble the kick or something, Great Crossing's defense will finally get a chance to be seen and heard from in that game.
Well, that's a rarity to not see the field like that. But you were saying something about a game you covered where it was 2-0 or something to that effect.
Indeed. Back in about, I want to say 2006, long time ago, a couple of high schools in Maine.
And good high schools, right? You said they
Levitt Area High School. They are a multi-time state champion. They were playing on the road on a Saturday afternoon because the school didn't have lights. It was a mud pit. It was in October. Weather is pretty unpredictable. It wasn't raining that day, but it was nasty conditions, and it was just one punt after another. And the only score of the game is when one of those punts was down on about the 1-foot line, and then somebody got plowed over on first down. 2-0. Never seen it before. Hope to never see it again. And that was one of their, don't want to say a down year, but that was kind of a building year for that program too. Right. I believe 2 or 3 years later they won a state title. They won another one about 4 years after that. So they were in a kind of an every 4-year cycle there. But yes, haven't seen anything like that in Kentucky. There was a big hit as Colony's going to remember this game tomorrow morning. Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah,
he's getting his bell rung.
If you're going to call his number that many times, and I think, you said earlier they had him listed at 125, which we don't believe.
No, we don't. He's not 225. We know that. He gains 4, 2nd and 6 at the 31. They're not showing us a lot of Robinson in the backfield tonight. As if
As soon
on
as we
cue,
say it, yep.
they give him here the inside handoff, and he'll have another Bulldog first down to the 22. So this quarter winding down, they'll probably have time for another play. Clock rolling under 20 seconds.
And that's a good change of pace right there. Robinson's a nice runner.
Colony will throw it to his side, one hop incomplete. Shaheem Drew, you got a nice 6'5" target. You want to throw it up where he can catch it, but also you're conscious of Mr. Hamilton and Mr. Armstrong over there. The pick six potential is high. Incomplete, no harm, no foul. 8 seconds, 8.3 remaining in the first quarter.
Yeah, Colony right there, he just didn't step into his throw. He's kicking himself right now because that's a throw he knows he can make. Just sort of threw it off, tried to really too quick. Got to point that shoulder and just like that right there.
Colony on the slant. Will it be an incomplete pass? Yes, they blow it dead. Couldn't tell if he'd had it long enough to be called a fumble.
That's just a good stick. I mean, he made a nice throw right over the middle, but the linebacker came in and popped it out.
Couple of good pass breakups. We saw one by Armstrong earlier.
And here's where you know that Dunbar's going to go for it on fourth down.
Absolutely.
So they don't have to
territory.
necessarily, give you an 11 to 15-yard pass here. They can try to maybe even do Robinson here or.
Colony throws it into traffic, and it's broken up and nearly intercepted. Andrew Wilhite was there. Wilhite's one of the guys that had a pick in the past couple of weeks. This secondary's had 4 over the past 2 games. That was the final play of the first quarter. They will walk to the other end for a 4th and 10. And the score is your Scott County Cardinals 21, the Dunbar Bulldogs nothing. Thanks to more of our corporate sponsors. Time to Shine Car Wash. Your car will shine at Time to Shine. 8 Lexington area locations to serve you. Go check out the one over by Walmart here in Georgetown. Steve Skierman, Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, ready to meet all of your insurance needs. Burger King, home of the Whopper. Domino's Pizza, go check out the new Georgetown location across from Scott County High School, corner of Champion Way and US 25. Sword Performance, the official hydration product of SC and GC Athletics. Pick up a Shield drink at any Clark's Pump and Shop today. Jersey Mike's, their new location will be opening very soon in Georgetown. They offer a sub above BMT maintenance. Technicians who are factory trained and certified to serve an extensive variety of commercial HVAC, cooking, and refrigeration equipment. Give them a call today. SC 21, PLD nothing. End of the first quarter.
And Cal, we'll see what, Dunbar sort of surprised me there. I really thought they would go with that power sweep or have Colony, the direct snap, try to get 4 or 5 yards, but instead they tried to get the first down with the 12-yard pass. It was broken up. Now you've got 4th and 10, and
your options are limited. Yeah. Yes, they're worn thin at this point.
Good
Colony
pocket,
scrambling. He will get some yardage, leaning forward, not enough as he is ankle tackled at the 15.
And that, Dunbar, their offensive line, they gave him a nice pocket right there. He had time. Scott County Secondary did an excellent job of coverage. And I think if he had it all over to do again, he probably would then have just taken a chance since it's 4th and 10 and, tried to maybe – hit that needle in the haystack, and if it gets picked off, so be it. But instead, he tried to run forward, and they closed the gap quickly.
Luke Valencia made the stop. Turnover on downs at the 15. Scott County will have its longest route to the end zone of the night if they are to get there. Hand off to Tago. Let the big dog eat. He will be across the 25 for another Scott County first down. Just churning out those 10, 12, 15-yard gains is number 2. He's number 1 in your rushing yardage column for SC, number 2 in your program. Andrew Hickey under center. Jones again, the fullback. Hickey will throw, faked it to both the wings. Campton Martin is wide open at midfield. He will lose one man, get it inside the 40 to the 36. Gain of 39.
And that's just terrific play action right there. Hickey does an excellent job. Got Martin wide open. Did the right thing, didn't overthrow him. When you got a guy that wide open, make sure you throw him a catchable ball, even if it's a hair underthrown, and you get a huge gain out of it.
39-yard dime from Hickey to Martin. We got some first quarter stats for you. A lot of room on the left-hand side. Knocked out at the 5. Jeremy Hamilton turns on the Jets for a gain of 31.
He really did. We were just talking about how, he seems to glide and use that stiff arm right there. He absolutely turned on the afterburners and hit that seam.
These first quarter stats are going to be outdated after those 2 gains. As they went from the 25 to the 5 in 2 plays. They went, was it Fikert or Martin? Yeah, it is Fikert. He'll get it to the 3, maybe the 2.5, second and goal. First quarter yardage was not close, 130 to 45, but SC is already up over 200 a couple of minutes here into the second quarter. Martin is in the game. He is a touchdown maker, and we have the flinch once again. That was the bugaboo last week, late in the game at Bryan Station. It will back him up 5 here to the 8.
Procedure against the offense. 5-yard penalty.
So you can't take that penalty, but the Cardinals do. The good news is they've been making so many chunk plays that 8 yards doesn't seem like a whole lot. They'll bring it this way with Fikert again, and a great tackle by number 4 from Paul Lawrence Dunbar.
Yeah, that was
Ryan Browning.
Yeah.
He's a 5'9", 180-yard junior linebacker.
Yeah, that was an excellent play right there. Knifed in out of the linebacker spot, and a good sure tackle right around the ankles.
Cost another 1.5 yards, so it's almost backed up to the 10. They've got 2 chances to get it in the end zone here. 3rd down and goal. Right hash mark. Martin and Fikert the wings. Dunbar moved that time, and I think they'll get 5 of it back, or at least half the distance, so 4.5 of it back.
And what a super job by Hickey as a freshman quarterback to have the presence of mind to say, okay, guys, we're going to give them a hard count here. We're going to get some of this yardage back. And now, it's 3rd and 4, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see him, use that fullback.
I would say that's Tego territory. Yeah. They back you up 0.5 yard because it is a half the distance situation. It was kind of between the 9 and the 10 at the original line of scrimmage. Jones in the backfield. We'll give it to Martin. Martin gets away, leans forward, scores. Touchdown, Scott County. 4 yards, first score of the season for the super senior, Campton Martin. He had 18, 19 all-purpose scores last year in a shorter season. Came back from war, availed himself of that extra year, and gets himself on the board here with 8:46 remaining in the second quarter.
He did a great job right there breaking that tackle. Dunbar's Aiden Davis, the young lineman, knifed in and had him for a loss. And but he was able to break the tackle and get in.
Kick is good. It's 28-0 with 8:46 to play in the half. Campton Martin caps the Cardinals' longest drive of the night, 85 yards. They did it quickly. They did it in big plays. Big catch by Martin. Big run by Hamilton to set it up.
Well, I don't think Scott County's had to punt once, have they?
No, they are 4 for 4. Haven't punted, haven't turned it over. This is Scott County football as we're used to seeing it.
Yeah, it's just what you draw up.
Wouldn't be a bad night to get the running clock going, get some guys out of the game, and start resting up for next Friday night. It's going to be at Donnybrook over on Winchester Road. I don't know. Last I heard, Douglas had a COVID cancellation. I don't know if they found.
Is that right?
I don't know if they found an opponent. I think it was their opponent.
Oh,
They were looking for a game, which seemed to happen to them almost every week last year. At least they would tell you. But again, do you want to go sign up to play the team that's number one in the 5A poll? Probably not. If you're just any run-of-the-mill program in Kentucky, so it's the price of success. You don't have and Jim McKee could tell you all about that. Not a lot of teams want to play you. Taken at the 5, Rodriguez kickoff. Dunbar will bring it out past the 20, but not much farther. There's another great hit on special teams.
sure was.
Is that Rowe again? Yeah, Sean Rowe has made 3 tackles at least on kickoffs. He is a multi-sport athlete. Made his impact tonight on the special teams side of things for the Cardinals, whose defense will go back to work. Looking for the second shutout of the season. It's early. Dunbar's got plenty of weapons and plenty of time. 8:14 to go, second quarter. But a great start for the Cardinals. Certainly their best start offensively this season. Mistake-free for the most part, except for a couple of penalties. Colony will throw that slant again. He will make it work for a first down this time, and they're having trouble bringing it down. Across the 40 goes number 9, Andrew Jones. Heck of a baseball player. No, not wrong one. First down, they'll mark it just past the 41.
Wilhite coming out with
Wilhite making
like
the tackle.
an injury. Yeah,
No, he got hit and dinged up. You don't want to see that. Another slant, complete to Jones. Same play, taken down this time right at midfield.
That's 2 good
Grant
throws
Robinson
right there.
made the tackle. Those are 2 nice throws right on the money. I saw Tua make those throws for the Dolphins one too many times as a Patriot fan last week. There's a handoff to Robinson across the 45. That quick slant killed New England in its season opener.
2 Alabama quarterbacks going at it.
Going at, hey, as a Patriots fan, I can't complain one bit about the game Mac Jones played, 29 for 39 in his debut. We got flags all over the place. Back to this game. False start on the Bulldogs. Move it back 5, be second and 11. 1 yard on Scott County's side of midfield. No, they'll mark it right at midfield. So second and 12.
Nice job right there. Excellent.
Good quick hit.
Yeah. And Cal, we were talking about, maybe getting to that running clock. But I'll be willing to bet that Coach McIntyre is saying to himself, getting ready for next week, we wouldn't mind seeing some passing right here. Let's work on this because
you're going to see
you're going to see 2 Division I wide receivers that can flat out.
And a quarterback that will be playing somewhere, no question. Adams, Hamilton, and Robinson on that last tackle. Here's another throw by Colony deep down the right sideline. Well covered if they don't throw the flag. Just incidental contact. Incomplete. Nope. Did they? My goodness. Who's it going to be on, though? Looks like everybody thinks it's going to be on Scott County. First down, Dunbar, if that's the case. That's the old Joe Flacco chuck and pray. Made it work. They'll mark it at the 33. Colony to the sideline. Kind of a dangerous pass there. And Scott County sniffed it out. It's on the ground. Recovered by the Bulldogs. They'll lose yardage in the exchange. Back to the 38. So a loss of 5 on a little quick out that they could have gotten a hand on, could have Scott County, didn't quite, but then a strong hit and the ball came flying out. Dunbar with the presence of mind to get on it. They'll mark it at the 37. So 2nd and 14, 6:14 and rolling here in the second quarter. Dunbar in a 28-0 hole here at Bird's Nest Stadium. Beautiful Friday night. That one almost picked off as Colony threw it right at Krebs.
Well, I tell you, Krebs is a big target.
Yeah, 6'2" is what he's listed at. He's probably taller than that.
I think he is, and he is a strong dude.
6'1" is what they list him at. I know he's taller than that. 6'1", 186, linebacker. Still a junior. He may be – no, he's a senior. Okay, he didn't reclassify.
Scott County did a nice job right there staying at home. They faked the – just the pass out in the flat and then tried to go to the tight end, but the linebacker did an excellent job.
3rd and long Bulldogs, and they're going to call a timeout and talk it over. 6:03 to play here in the first half. Bulldogs, they've moved the ball a little bit, but Scott County bend but don't break.
Yeah, they've done exactly what you have to do. They got a turnover, and then but this is good. This is, I think it's good for them to see this type of offense before next week.
Yeah, you want to play against a team that's going to air it out because, like you said, there's just no shortage of talent and athleticism on the flanks for those Frederick Douglass Broncos. I don't know what their running game is like this year. I thought last year that was kind of the understated part of their game with Neal. Of course, he's now at Georgetown College.
Well, and you had talked about, their offensive line being so good too.
Yeah, you graduate to D1, but, they replenish there. They have obviously gotten off to a great start this season. They've beaten Bryan Station by 2 or 3 scores, and they took care of this Dunbar team by a running clock. Colony. Straight drop, high throw, tipped, almost intercepted, just couldn't keep the hands on it. Hamilton was there, slipped through the fingers, and it'll be 4th down.
And he had him. It was just a little bit of a high throw, and then Scott County almost comes up with the pick, but
little shoe top attempt there by Hamilton to pick it. He just could not keep the hands on it.
Yeah, Scott County had some pressure off the left edge and made him, he saw him coming and made him get rid of it just a hair earlier than what he wanted to.
And now we've got a discussion going on. It is 4th and 14 from the 37. Play clock down to 5. Colony will have to hurry. He gets the play off. He throws it deep. Single coverage, held up nicely and overthrown. Danny Armstrong was on the scene and just built the wall, and Drew couldn't get there. Turnover on downs at the 37.
Coach McIntyre really excited about that, bringing his defense over. That's what you have to do. You gave up a few first downs, but then you locked in and get the ball back for your offense. And here's where we've seen it so many times where Scott County will just put the dagger in you and score here and go for 2 and get the running
They could have ended here.
Yeah.
They are at their own 37. They are 4 for 4 tonight, driving for touchdowns. Hickey will throw. It's high and incomplete. Couple of sets of fingertips on it. One for each team.
Yeah. And that's where, Hickey's going to get better. He kind of threw that off his back foot. As he develops, as he gets older, more mature, then he'll step into that throw and just, hit the guy right in the numbers.
Isaac York, again, the intended receiver. Just thinking, have we not seen Paul Garner tonight? Okay, he's on defense then. Hand off to Fikert, gets taken down hard at the 40. It'll be 3rd and 7. The leading tackler for these Dunbar Bulldogs, Mason Hazlett, a 6'1" junior defensive back, made the stop. Third down, 7 from the Scott County 40. They've thrown more on first down tonight, and I think Coach McKee will tell you that's because they're going to have to do that next week as well. Jones, close to a first down, depends on where they mark it.
Wow, that spot looks like they're going to give it to him, but
Pretty generous, I think.
it was. I thought he was a little short, but
It might be a hometown spot. Might be, now that I look at it, a link short. They're going to have to measure it.
they'll go for it right here.
Oh, yeah. Just give it to
I'd
Tago.
hand back. Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't think there's much doubt about the call. Mano a mano here. Nope, Hickey. I take it back. He has run that quarterback sneak a couple of times this evening, a couple of times on the goal line. Here it yields the first down at the 48. And again, when you got a quarterback with a little length, you can do that.
I was a little surprised by that call, though. Down on the goal line, the second time they ran,
Almost was worried the ball was going to
yeah.
come out.
But
again, I think Tago has shown a propensity to sometimes let the ball slip out of his hands in those short yards. So maybe that plays into it too. I don't know. Hickey gets hit as he throws and bounces it to Hamilton, incomplete. Good rush by Dunbar there, coming in from the blind side.
And that was a heads-up play by Jeremy right there, because the official very easily could have called that a backward pass, and he immediately played it off the hop and started running. But to the official's credit, he was all over it, called it an incomplete pass from the get-go. Yeah, 2 wide receiver set. That's unusual.
Interesting for Scott County. Sweep to Martin. Martin's got the corner in Dunbar territory. First down, steps out right at the marker, just past it inside the 42.
And that's sort of that eye candy that you see, it's, oh, wow, they don't usually do this, but what did they come with that, that jet sweep that they're so famous for?
Just to get you thinking.
Yeah.
Gives you a blocker, an extra blocker out there maybe. Because they can run it to either side and have that luxury. Ball at the 41, first down. Martin in motion. Hickey will hand off to Jones. Jones loses his footing, tried to keep his balance with his open hand, but they're going to mark him down. No gain, 2nd and 10.
And that defensive line for Dunbar is fighting hard. Kudos to them. It's easy to throw in the towel, but they're still playing extremely hard.
Easy to lose your mind when you're down 4 scores. 21-7, great crossing. Gabe Nichols a little scramble and finds Mason Wiley for another touchdown. So,
got him wide.
Deep throw, Hickey wide open as Hamilton's just got to wait for it. Touchdown, 41 yards. Freshman to senior, and they'll go for 2.
Beautiful throw by Hickey. We've seen that play so many times over the years, but you still got to execute it. And for a freshman, when you see a guy wide open like that, you might tend to underthrow, overthrow, whatever. He hits him right in the numbers, and that's just an outstanding play.
Hamilton was so wide open. He had the luxury of kind of making it like a punt almost and getting some air under it. Perfectly thrown ball, and now they will talk over the 2-point conversion, which could send us to a running clock. If not, won't be much longer.
Well, I was just thinking, I was trying to think of who received the ball first as I was sprinting in from the parking
Dunbar
lot.
kicked to Scott County, I believe.
I couldn't remember.
Back come the Cardinals to go for 2. They've got Martin in the game. They've got Jones. They've got Fikert. Any or all could be the guy to get the call. Martin goes in motion. They'll go with Jones. He will punch it in. 36-0, running clock, Cardinals.
That was a big hole right there. The offensive line did an excellent job. We talked about that early, how they were just firing off, and Coach Willard doing such a great job with that O-line, and right there you saw it.
We'll be home early tonight. So Scott County will be 2-2 at night's end. They will have a big one next week as the district schedule opens against the Douglas Broncos. The only mystery left tonight is, do they get the second shutout of the season? Defense has played pretty well in the face of a Dunbar team that is an air raid offense for sure.
Yeah, and Conley's done a nice job, but Scott County's just had the answer. Even if they've gotten a first down or two here and there, they've been able to break on some passes, break it up, make some nice tackles where, popping the ball out.
Bulldogs, we mentioned they scored 69 in their opener. They've had a total of 49 points the last 3 weeks while giving up 152. So this has been the trend lately for Dunbar. Deep kick again. Had some room, but a good little grab of the shirt there at the 30, and they'll throw him down at the 35.
Yeah, I can't.
Sean Rowe again.
That was, yeah. That was an excellent tackle.
No, maybe not.
Nope.
Sean Rowe came up from near the vicinity of the tackle, number 41.
It might have been Fikert.
Fikert.
Yeah, it was Fikert.
Dunbar will have 240 and rolling to get from its 34-yard line. Dunbar loses its 4th straight tonight, barring anything apocalyptic here. Colony throws it deep. He just threw it behind his man. He had a little seam in between 2 Scott County defenders, but it's incomplete. Clock won't stop for the incomplete pass or anything else.
And here I wonder if Coach McIntyre will, keep everything in front, or will he bring the house? Every now and then he may bring somebody off the edge. Right here, he's just got 3 down linemen, so it looks like they're going to back, but you never know if he's going to send these linebackers, and they're creeping. Here they come.
Coming after it, almost get a hand on it. Screen gets taken down just shy of the marker. Be 3rd and less than a yard. Shaheem Drew on the catch.
That was a good play right there by Conley, because Scott County was bringing the heat, and he made the right play call. Just dump it over the middle to the big boy.
Drew, tall drink of water. He can make some guys miss and run over some people. Colony will keep it for the first down. Nothing doing beyond that as 4 or 5 black shirts converge. Time's a wasting for Dunbar, 119 and counting. They're at their own 46.
They do have 1 timeout left, but you're going to have to pick up the pace. So, but they're used to this. This is kind of their.
They've been behind most
anyway.
of the season, and they throw it constantly. You're right. No matter what the scoreboard says, Colony will scramble, roll to his left, and throw incomplete. Well covered back there. Actually, there wasn't even anybody to cover. Will Height was the closest man to the ball. Quarterback basically just threw it away. "40 seconds in the first half. Scott County in control of this one. We'll dump off. Good effort by number 11 from Dunbar on the far sideline. That's Eric White, 5'9", 130-pound senior, and that may be accurate. He's a scat-back looking type. But he moved the pile and moved the chains to the Scott County 43, but this probably will be the last play of the half. And Colony is going to get sacked on the last play of the half.
They'll call a timeout here.
Oh, they will use their timeout.
Yeah.
Isaac Krebs, you mentioned how rangy he is. He gets to the quarterback there to stop another Dunbar threat potentially.
Yeah, the coaching staff was right in the official's ear screaming for a timeout. I thought a few seconds actually ticked off, but at this point, you're going to get your one play, and so we'll see how Scott County handles it. We'll see what Dunbar does. Do they roll out and just try to throw a Hail Mary into the end zone? Do they try to, a hook and ladder? Do they throw a short pass and just try to do some laterals? There's a number of different ways
The
you
Stanford,
can go
California
here.
play.
Or you could just pull a Jacksonville State and hit a receiver at about the 15 and break 2 tackles and run in. That was unbelievable when I saw that.
Back-to-back sacks to end the first half for Great Crossing. Brandon Smith and Will Frazier, they lead Bourbon County 21-7. See if Scott County could end the half with back-to-back sacks. They got one by Krebs. Dunbar with time for one more play, 2nd and a half. In the half. Colony will throw it over the middle, complete. Short of the first down, won't matter anyway, as that will be the end of the first half. We'll have our News Graphic halftime show coming up with some first half stats, talk about maybe a little bit about next week's game some more, and a little bit about our next game, which will be 2 weeks from tonight, the Battle of the Birds, Great Crossing and Scott County on October the 1st. This one, all Scott County Cardinals. They're up 36-0 over the Paul Lawrence Dunbar Bulldogs.
Well, just like you said, if you're Scott County, it's just how you draw it up. You come out several drives. You're doing what you do best, running the ball, and then you play action and you hit guys wide open. And your defense keeps them out of the end zone. Like I said, not perfect, but certainly keeps them out of the end zone, and being able to get used to some passing from Conley and the Dunbar team, and that's going to get them ready for next week.
They will face their nemesis, Frederick Douglass. They haven't beaten them since that unforgettable playoff game in 2018. In which they avenged a regular season loss. 28-27 was the final. I remember Brian Hudson sack late in the game, final minute. Really turned the tide in that one.
Yeah.
Also a 2-point conversion pass that was incomplete for Douglas that kept the lead for Scott County. But really the Cardinals just controlled the game that night with their offense. They got ahead early. That's really what you've got to do. You've got to find a way to score. What's happened the past 2 years is just they've fallen behind, self-inflicted mistakes, turnovers, fumbled snaps. It's been the story, and if you can avoid that, I think they can make a game of it. First half stats, Andrew Hickey has looked good, 3 for 5, 87 yards and a touchdown. That touchdown to Jeremy Hamilton. He also hit Campton Martin for a 39-yarder to set up a score. Montego Jones, 8 carries, 75 yards and a touch. Campton Martin, 5 carries, 54 yards and hit pay dirt. Jeremy Hamilton has picked up 40 on his 2 rushes. Scott County averaging 8 yards a pop just about on the ground, 25 carries for $197. Paul Lawrence Dunbar, 17 carries for 57 yards. 10 of those carries have been by the quarterback, Cole Colony. He's 10 for 28. Camarion Robinson, 3 for 17. Longest run of the night for Dunbar, 9 yards. Colony is 9 for 19 through the air for 81. Andrew Jones, the leading receiver, 3 for 42. Scott County has held Shaheem Drew to 2 catches for 18 yards.
And that's a guy that there ain't a team in Central Kentucky that wouldn't want on their team. He's a good player, so excellent job by Scott County. Right?
Told you I have trouble seeing the uniform numbers. I was questioning whether Paul Garner was playing tonight. He was actually the leading tackler for the Cardinals with 8 total tackles, especially when they're only got 1 digit on that uniform. Garner, two solos and 6 assists. Sean Rowe, 4 tackles all on special teams. Nice game for him. Will Height and Adams with 5 apiece. Scott County has had 5 possessions and has put it in the end zone all 5 times. Total yardage 284 to 138, so about a 2-to-1 difference there. Go over the scoring summary on those 5 drives. Andrew Hickey, a 2-yard sneak with 10:23 remaining in the first quarter. That was set up by a couple of long runs. That's pretty much been the story of the night. Montego Jones, a 1-yard run. Thomas Fikert, a 5-yard run, still in the first quarter with 3:13 remaining. Jeremy Hamilton rushed for the PAT to make up for an earlier missed kick, and it was 21-zip. Campton Martin punched it in from 4 yards out. That was a long 85-yard drive, but it was quick strikes. It was the pass from Hickey to Martin, and then a run by Hamilton that set it up to make it 28-0. And we just mentioned moments ago, Jeremy Hamilton with wide open on play action and just a dime from Andrew Hickey. And that's what you want out of your quarterback. We've mentioned all you've really got to do, and that was McKee's words himself at the start of this year when he announced that it was going to be a freshman. He said, all you really got to do in this offense is not mishandle the snaps, sell your fakes, and throw that ball accurately down the middle.
Yeah, it's just efficiency. And when you run the ball as well as they have over the years, and you got a stable running backs, then that's all you need to do. And he's done an excellent job of that tonight. He's looked – I can remember one time where he really didn't step into his throw, and other than that, he's been outstanding. So,
he looks like a natural back there. Yeah. He looks like he has command of the – that's all you want is command of your offense. Yeah. They're different styles of quarterback, but what you like about Gabe Nichols for great crossing is he just has an obvious command for what they do. And it's if you've got that going for you, you've got a lot, especially when you're Scott County and have all those weapons on the offensive side.
And we talked about it the very first week that Hickey comes from a football family. His dad was a Scott County alum and was a tough player a few years behind me, and then his boys have been playing. It's been outstanding to see.
It's a team and a program with a bright future. We've mentioned a lot of freshmen and sophomores in the game tonight, so the present looks good and the future looks even better. Well, you got to be impressed with Jeremy Hamilton, though. He doesn't get any plays off in this offense, defense, special teams. He's done it all for this team so far. He's certainly had an MVP-type season and certainly having another night like that tonight.
Yeah, he's just been outstanding. We've talked about a few of the runs, and whether it's I got to run over somebody or whether I got to get wide and outrun you, he can do both. He's a tough runner in between the tackles. But I'm just so impressed. I keep saying how much he reminds me of his older brother who played with Sam, but he's making a name for himself because he looks good out here.
Yeah, Kendrick was a very punishing type of runner. He was not – Jeremy will just make you miss and then turn on the jets, the afterburners, as you said. It's going to be interesting to see what he does with his college choice since he's in there along with EKU. Obviously, a talented basketball player, so if he chose to go that route, it's a small college route, but probably football is his college future, I would guess.
But, I love multi-sport stars.
And he also gets it done in track. He's a state qualifier in multiple events, relays.
And when a college coach looks at that, they don't take that into effect because they're saying, okay, here's a guy whose ceiling is higher because he hasn't just done football his life or just done, you know what I'm saying?
It's like when you're recruiting a pitcher and he's got some life in his arm because he didn't have a lot of innings on it in his youth. That's kind of what you're getting football wise with Jeremy. Is a guy, as you said, with that hasn't taken a ton of hits. He's not the guy that's carried the ball 25, 30 times a game. He doesn't get that many touches. He just takes advantage of the ones that he does get. So 2 weeks from now, let's talk about next week again for a little while. Scott County at Douglas. Obviously, it's a team you mentioned, Mr. Key. You mentioned the weapons they've got on the outside.
Ty Bryant.
Cameron Dunn. Sam Cornett, the list goes on and on.
From a skill position point of view, they're as good as it gets. I have not seen them play this year, so I'd be anxious to see how their offensive line has molded together. You just don't replace a Jagger Burton.
No, and before that, Walker Parks.
Or Walker Parks, who's now at Clemson. So, but just like you said, they just replenish, and a lot like Scott County, and Scott County's starting to get their feet wet now and starting to look good. But
that'd be a good test. It'll see how far they how far they
Both
have
of
gotten dug in.
Yeah.
If you're Scott County, I mean, last year playoff game, I think the final was 39-20 or something like that. But let's be honest, the game wasn't that close.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. And then 2 weeks from tonight, it's the age-old question.
Yeah,
Do you
I'm
wanna be-
excited about that.
Do you want to be 5-0 at this point in the season, or do you mind being 3-2 or 2-3 with a monster schedule in your rearview mirror? I mean, I can see both trains of thought, and I can see why a program like Great Crossing that's trying to still develop would go the route that it has, and I would see why someone like Jim McKee, who's been here a quarter of a century, would do what he does, which is just play the monsters of the Midway.
Well, you just took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was going to say. And just like you said, I don't think there's a wrong way in this situation, because Great Crossings needs to feel good about itself. It needs to say, okay, all this work we put in has been paying off. And if they hang on to beat Bourbon County, which the last I heard 21-7, it looks like they're going to, they needed that. And Scott County, on the other hand, they know how to win football games, and a couple of early losses is not going to ruin their season. We've seen that in the past. We talked about the last time when they started off 0-3 and ended up losing in the state semifinals.
So, yeah.
I can see both sides, and I think it was the right way for both sides. So either way, it's going to be a lot of fun 2 weeks from tonight.
That defense from Great Crossing has just put up tremendous numbers. Now they haven't faced a Scott County yet. So
no, but
we'll
and there's going to be a lot of emotion in that game, and but regardless, I do think that that both teams are going to be playoff ready. I think,
and there's a better than average chance they might play each other early in that playoff. So this may not be the only battle of the birds we see this year.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So, and if you've looked at the 5A defensive rankings, individual and team, they've got somebody or the team represented in either number 1 or number 2 in just about every major category.
And that's where the coaching staff, as bad as the student body wants to win, as bad as the parents wants to win, as bad as the players want to win, that's where the coaching staff has to come in, and regardless of who wins that game, say, all right, look, there's still a lot of football to be played. And the big thing is when it starts, November 1 or whenever the playoffs start, that's when it's ultimately important. And yes, this regular season game does mean a lot. And yes, I want you to get hyped up on both sides.
Oh, yeah.
But when it's over, we got to focus on the rest of the season and get better, because it's not the state championship for either team.
No, both teams have a month to go after that. They have to get through Grant County and Montgomery County, which they should both be favored against those teams. And Great Crossing will still have to play Douglas, and Scott County still has to go to Ballard and go to Lex Cath. So it's there's a lot on the table after that game. You're right. But I think one good thing, thank goodness it's in the middle of the season where it belongs. I just think, out of the gate, I don't think it was ever good for anybody, really. It wasn't really good for Great Crossing either year to have to play that off. Last year, it ended up being week 2 because of COVID, but it was scheduled for week 1. And, just to put a district game like that where it belongs. Now, in the future, if one school is 6A and one school is 5A and you have to play it week 1, then so be it. But as long as it's a district game, I like having it in October. Both teams have a chance to build some momentum.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because, normally a rival is at the end of the year, at least at the college level. But I can remember when the UK Louisville game, when they moved it to the beginning of the year, that's all everybody talked about to lead up to it. So playing it in the middle is unusual for a big rival. But I'm like you, it's kind of perfect. it's
You're right.
okay.
In other parts of the country, you do play your rival in the last game
Yeah.
quite often. New England, that's a big depending on what state you're from, you either play them on Thanksgiving, you play them on Halloween weekend, whatever the case may be, but your last regular season game. So, but where it comes is where it comes, and it will be the first day of October, first night of October. We hope you can, well, first of all, we hope you can be here. This place is going to be jammed again, maybe not the 7,500 that were rumored to be here 2 years ago, but certainly the seats will be full that night. And
Well, especially after last year when
everybody's just itching to be
right.
part of it again. It's good to see. If you can't make it, please do go to newsgraphic.com. That's news-graphic.com. You can listen to the audio of all home games for free on there. And you can certainly go to NFHS with a subscription and listen to us and watch the game. So that's some weeks we'll have 2 games. The week after the Great Crossing Scott County game, there'll be a Thursday night home game and a Friday night home game. So it will be fun. A lot of football left to be played, and we're looking forward to it.
And that's interesting. Cal, is it Great Crossings that plays that Thursday?
I believe Scott County took the
Scott
Thursday
County
game.
because
McKee never seems to mind that. He's okay with playing whenever you want to play it.
right. I was just thinking, after, especially for Scott County, because they're going to have Douglas and then Great Cross. That's 2 emotional games, and then to come back on a Thursday night. So that they'll have to make sure they, you can't be at just a rah high peak for every game. But I can remember Jerry Claiborne saying one time that his coach Bear Bryant told him, sometimes you got to win just because you're the best team.
Yeah,
and that may be one of those times. I don't even know who they play on that.
Grant
Thursday,
County.
Yeah. So, you're not going to be able to just bring it all, but you got to be able to get the job done, get the win, and then move on.
Certainly the way it has been in this district since Scott County and Great Crossing joined it. Grant and Montgomery have been very much winnable games, and just get in, get out, stay healthy is what you hope for. But we shall see. It's going to be, and then those games will kind of lead into those 2 monster road games at the end for SC. So they will go into the playoffs well tested, having met Ballard and Lexington Catholic in back-to-back weeks. I'm trying to think if somehow I ended up getting to go to the Ballard game. I don't know. Maybe there's another Thursday, Friday sequence, or Great Crossing's playing on a Saturday or something. I can't remember the details, but I do know that one week they're both at home is a Thursday, Friday scenario. So both teams back on the field. We got the Earth, Wind, and Fire going here on the 17th night of September.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was thinking is I sure hope that 2 weeks from Friday can be a night like tonight. We've had some outstanding weather.
We couldn't be any better than what we've had so far. Just picture postcard scene here as the sun was setting, and behind the church and behind the trees and behind the farms. Beautiful place to watch a game on a Friday night here in G-Town, Kentucky. We're glad you could join us. Do check out newsgraphic.com after the game. The stories will be online probably before midnight. We'll have the full roundup of this one and Great Crossing, Bourbon County, where my colleague for the fall, Nate Bryan, is there. Great Crossing's defense in that one, 21-7. Of course, they gave up the kick return, did the Warhawks, and then it was, I believe I saw turnover on downs, interception, and a punt were the 3 defensive possessions. So Great Crossing has advertised in that one.
Yeah, they have flat out been getting after it on the defensive side.
Getting ready to kick off Scott County, as they did have the ball to start this game. Christian Rodriguez. That's been an understated weapon in this game. He's been able to kick it deep, and they've been able to pretty much pin Dunbar, at least around the 30 or 35. No great field position. I may have just jinxed it again. He kicks it to the 10. And once again, good coverage. I'm sure Sean Rowe was in the middle of it because he's been the middle of all of them.
And here's where Coach McIntyre, I'm sure, is
there.
just harping on it. Look, I know we're up 36-0, but we are playing now for next week.
Yeah.
Let's be sharp. Let's know, we got to know where we're at. We've got to be able to, if you're on an island, you got to be able to play a man-to-man. If I'm telling you to blitz, and you got to get in there, and you got to make sure you have sure tackles. So you can see him right now. He's on that 35. He's as into it as if it was a tie ball game because he knows that he wants his defense to get better.
Your opponent right now is you. You just want to improve over the next 24 minutes, one of which has already run off the clock, 10:57, before Dunbar even snaps it. It will be a short night here at Bird's Nest Stadium. Quick throw to Shaheem Drew is low and incomplete. Couldn't hang on. Colony didn't quite get it to him. Krebs, Wilhite were there. Hamilton, Armstrong. Scott County just has a nose for the ball defensively, and it's a stark change from what we saw against Franklin County a month ago.
Oh, absolutely.
Quick out to the Dunbar sideline. This time it's complete, but not a lot there. Cam Robinson, the running back coming out of the backfield there. A little swing pass. It'll be 3rd and 4. Cole Colony going to have to ice down that arm after this game among the rest of his body after getting hit a few times. Robinson will try to push the pile to the marker. I think he's got it.
They've had some success handing the ball off to him, but he does not have a lot of touches tonight.
No, he's an easy guy to lose in there. He only had 3 carries for 17 yards. He's 5'5", 185 pounds. That is a low center of gravity.
You're averaging almost 6 yards a carry. I think I
might want to get
him a few more touches. Yeah.
They've been behind. That's early and ever-growing deficit. That's been a big part of it. He gets it here again, so his number's been called on consecutive plays. He'll take it just a yard shy of the midfield stripe. Hamilton and Valencia in on the stop for the Cardinals. They'll mark it at midfield, 2nd and 2. Some generous spots tonight going both sides. Getting the benefit of that extra half yard of doubt. Colony rolls to his right, runs out of room, and he'll just take it to the 12th man, and it will be 3rd and 2. Adams chased him out of bounds. 8:43 to play.
And I tell you talked about him having to ice his arm down. He's been a tough kid, but boy, he's taking some hits tonight.
He said not an overwhelmingly big guy. Whatever he weighs, it's less than the guys who are hitting him.
Yeah. But then he's right back,
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Pops right up.
Yeah, I'm ready to.
That's what you want out of your QB.
Get the next snap.
Robinson, close to the first down, right at the marker again.
Looks like he's got it, but they're giving it to him.
The first down for the Bulldogs.
Bulldog first down at the Cardinal 48. They've been in Scott County territory. I believe this is the 4th time now, but they have yet to score. Scott County's defense historically doesn't care about necessarily how many yards it gives up. It's all about points. It's all about making the play on 3rd and 4th down and getting off the field. Colony sidesteps the rush, has time, now has to scramble to get out of bounds at the 45, gain of 3.
And it'll be interesting to see if next week, if this is what Coach McIntyre chooses to do, because he's dropping 8 and sending, and rushing.
I do think this is a dress rehearsal for next week. I don't think they maybe think the running game can hurt them the way it has in the past. It's definitely a pass-driven offense. More so than ever. Colony, plenty of time. He's had plenty of time. Now the rush comes. He sidesteps it, throws it over the middle, picked off.
Ooh.
No. Wilhite, did he get it?
Did.
Andrew Wilhite with his second interception of the season.
Yep, they're giving it to him. Excellent.
So it'll take down to about halfway through the third quarter before Scott County snaps it with a 36-0 lead. Turnover on downs to start the second half for Great Crossing. Bourbon County fumbled the kickoff, but the Warhawks could not take advantage. Pass complete. Not a whole lot there. York again, Isaac York.
But just like we talked about, that dress rehearsal for next week, I think, this is an obvious case. You've got a young freshman quarterback. Let's let him get some throws in. And, you start out in the second half. And that's certainly not what you're expecting to see
not up 36-0. Gain of 7 for York. It's the fourth completion of the night for Hickey in 6 attempts. That was a well-designed play, but Dunbar read it perfectly, and Martin on the counter gets taken down by number 2, John Law.
Yeah, you're exactly. I was just thinking, man, that looked good.
I thought he was going to zip through there and be gone.
But that's an excellent play by number 2, Law.
Law slammed the door. Loss of a couple, maybe one. 3rd and 4. Martin in motion. Dunbar creeping up. They know who's going to get it. It's Jones. He's got daylight inside the 40, the 35, taken down at the 32. The flag come in late. Is it a face mask or a hold or what is it? Very late flag.
I think it's got to be a face mask right
at the
there.
end of the run. Yeah, he's pointing in that direction.
Face mask against the defense.
They'll mark off 15. No? I guess they'll mark off 5. It's a 5-yarder, the garden variety face mask.
Which I know they've done away with at the collegiate level.
I guess you can still grab but not pull, and it's a 5-yarder in high school. It's a fine line. Hickey to throw over the middle, wide open. Hamilton spins inside the 10, 1st and goal.
I love that play right there. A little play action, but it's not for everything. It's just a nice dig, throw about a 7-yard pass, and let him do the rest.
Scott County 5 for 5 tonight, about to go 6 for 6. They're 8 yards away from the end zone with 4 minutes to go, third quarter. They probably won't get too many more possessions in this game with the running clock. Second man is Martin. He plows ahead for a yard or 2.
Dunbar played that nicely.
They've seen it a couple of times now. They've made some adjustments, certainly on the plays that involve Martin.
But you know what I liked about that? The great Marcus Allen said one time, sometimes you just got to lower your shoulder and get 2 yards.
Yeah.
And that's what Martin did right there. He didn't try to dance around, and he just said, okay, there's nothing there. I'm going to hit, it's not a hole, but I'm going to lower my shoulder, and I'm going to get 2 yards. And now, and
I like that out of him.
5, yeah.
You don't always see that out of the wings in this offense. Jones spins, stood up at the 5. The ball's on the ground. I think Scott County recovered, but they'll lose yardage back to the original line of scrimmage. They will spot it at the 8, so nothing gained there. In fact, maybe a loss of a yard. Call it the 9. 3rd down and goal.
3rd down and goal on the 9.
Jones in the backfield. Hickey going to throw to the back corner.
Nice
Over the shoulder catch. Once again, freshman to freshman. Isaac York in the end zone. And that combination is going to do that a few times over the years.
And you've seen that in years past. Usually when it's a 3rd and long, close to the goal, that's where you're going to see that fade pattern, and they did that nicely.
And Stanley attempting the extra point for the Cardinals.
Got in and blocked it. They've been close all night.
PAT blocked, so it's 42-0. Good seeing you, Sam. Sam Sutton, been our spotter tonight, headed down to the sideline. He was here in pregame as well. Got some insight from a recent alumnus. That was good. Sam coached the pitchers with baseball this year for the Cardinals. Not too many pitchers battled harder than Sam Sutton that I've come in contact with over the years. He was a battler.
There's not an alumnus that loves his school more.
No,
than
there
Sam,
certainly
I'll
are
tell you
not.
that.
He is high on the list in that category, no doubt about it. Thank our sponsors once again, Bluegrass Orthopedics, serving athletes of all ages. Georgetown News Graphic. Go to newsgraphic.com after the game and check out all the coverage, photos, stories, and more. Galvin's on Main. Get yourself some food and check out the UK game tomorrow. Another deep kickoff. They've tried returning it up the middle all night. They went toward the Scott County sideline with even less success here as the Cardinals were all over it.
You just mentioned Galvin's. What a terrific hometown. I love to see, small town business owners make it. The Joneses are just terrific people. We had our 11th region athletic directors meeting there on Wednesday, and they took care of us, and just love to see that they're being successful. And
because local businesses and
right.
any of these businesses we mentioned, they've been put through the ringer over the last 18 months. So do get out and support them and tell them thank you for supporting local student athletes for sure. Colony zipped that one over the middle to Jones. Good sliding catch. I think there was some question, but the ref coming in from the back said, yep, you caught it. First down.
Yeah, that was a great catch, sliding down right there.
He threw it with some zing, and Jones got his hands under it, it did appear. Last minute of the third quarter. 42-0, Scott County. That's complete for a first down. Jones again, he's been busy tonight. He's been the favorite target. Up over the 45. Dunbar might have time for one more play here in the third period. They're just trying to get on the board. Scott County trying to pick up its second shutout in 4 starts.
Scott County's creeping here. They might be bringing pressure.
Hand off to Robinson. Moves the stack to midfield.
And that's a couple times where Scott County's decided to bring the heat, and Dunbar had the right play call. We're just going to hand it off, try to hit the seam, and before they ran a little screen play. So they've done a nice job in that area.
The end of the third quarter, your Scott County Cardinals 42, the Paul Lawrence Dunbar Bulldogs 0. Some more sponsors, DMK CPA, Denise M. Keene for your tax and auditing needs. Brickhouse Properties Real Estate, buying and selling made easy. Chick-fil-A, home of the original chicken sandwich. Toyota Motor Manufacturing, Kentucky. Clark's Pump and Shop, return, refresh, refuel. They have 3 Georgetown locations. Georgetown Community Hospital, where your health and safety remain the number one priority. West Banco, tonight's Player of the Game award, by all accounts, better. Greens Toyota of Lexington, great people, great cars, think Greens. Ozer Paint and Flooring, your hometown paint and flooring connection, Scott County Veterinary Clinic. They love and treat your pets like their own. Come join the SC Veterinary Clinic family. People's Bank, working together, building success. Go to 101 Canewood Center Drive and see them. Time to Shine Car Wash. Your car will shine at Time to Shine. 8 Lexington area locations to serve you. Steve Skierman, Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, ready to meet all of your insurance needs. Burger King, home of the Whopper. Domino's Pizza. Check out the new 2-story location at the corner of Champion Way. And US 25. Sword Performance. I guzzled one of their products at halftime. It was much needed. The official hydration product of Great Crossing Scott County Athletics. Pick up a Shield drink at any Clark's Pump and Shop. Jersey Mike's, come see them at their location opening late this fall in Georgetown. They offer a sub, above, and BMT maintenance technicians who are factory trained and certified to serve an extensive variety of commercial HVAC, cooking, and refrigeration equipment. Give them a call today. It's going to be tough with the Player of the Game award tonight. It's been the offense has been balanced, to say the least. Jeremy Hamilton's made a lot of big plays, and I think he's probably the guy.
You took that out of my mouth. I was going to say that guy has made some terrific runs. Defense
is pitching the shutout. Of course, he's been part of that as well. You know, Andrew Wilhite's had a good night. Some other guys, Paul Garner, but all things considered, I think you kind of want to reward Hamilton for the first month of the season that he's had in a lot of ways. There haven't been a lot of home games. Against Franklin County, he had the only 2 touchdowns on returns. There's a good tackle by Scott County for no gain as they snuff that out. Is that the kicker there?
Look, I was going to say, it looked like Big 73.
I think it's the kicker, Christian, there on the stop. Tyler Giannacio, also in the game. They've got some different bodies up front rotating in. 3rd and 5 coming in. They're going to get the sack. Jackson Saylor from the front side, and Colony's down. They'll pick him up.
And just as I said that the couple times that Scott County has brought pressure, that they've had the right play call, that time they were going straight drop back and the pressure was too much. They had him from both sides. Right before that snap, I was getting ready to say you were talking about a couple of the younger guys coming in, but Coach McIntyre still coaching it like, you know, it's
he
fourth
wants,
quarter.
He wants the zero on the board. No question. They don't get a ton of shutouts. He's had, in recent years, they've had some with the change to 5A, the district opponents. Jones is right at 100 yards tonight. You can't discount the game that he's at. Hamilton with 101 all-purpose. We've got a timeout on the field.
I think they're going to call delay a game, Cal.
It's going to back them up 5 more, if that's the case. Yep, it's going to be 4th and 17.
And that'll drive you crazy as a coach. You know, you're getting beat, you're frustrated, but then your special teams comes out and they get a delay of game penalty. Coach can't be happy with that.
And as shutouts go, to get back to that, this is an impressive one. I mean, this is a Dunbar offense that puts the ball in the air frequently. They've, despite their record, they've hung at least a couple of touchdowns on every opponent to this point. So it's a good night for the SC defense. Dunbar will punt it to the Scott County 25, and the Cards will get at least one more possession here. Might see their JV offense. I don't know.
Well, if they do, Colony deserves it because young man has played hard. But it looks like they're bringing him. Let's see.
Scott County will call a timeout to collect its thoughts, as I believe it will be at least somewhat of a new offensive group here. I think Jeremy Hamilton was trying to sneak in there, and they told him to get to the sideline.
Yeah, that's the last
credit
thing
for
you
that.
want is an injury right here, right before the
Douglas
game.
I'm all for having him sit down at this point. We'll check on the other game during this break in the action. Great Crossing has been up 21-7 and still up 21-7. A scoreless third quarter. The defense has 4 sacks and an interception. Bourbon County's touchdown was on an 83-yard kick return early in the game. So that is another typical Warhawk night. Their offense has surrendered, 3 touchdowns in 5 games if you scratch this special teams touchdown tonight. They're going to have a world of confidence coming into October 1st, 2 weeks from tonight, when they play this Scott County team. We'll see how it translates. Scott County has got, as we mentioned, a pretty big one before that. Second offense in the game. The sweep will be read pretty well by Dunbar there. Caden Drumheller is the new quarterback. Ellis Hughley was on the carry there. Hughley got some action in the preseason and then again a little bit in the Franklin County game.
Yeah.
Not tonight until now.
Well, you saw the coaching staff call timeout there because they got the young guys in. Let's get together. Let's figure out what we're going to do. You know, we want to play clean football, fire off, do what you do every day in practice.
And a flag and a whistle.
And as soon as I say that,
A whistle and a flag in that order.
Get a false start.
Somebody jumped. It'll be 2nd and 17 after they mark it off. Clock is stopped, which
sure
it really shouldn't, even with a penalty, I guess. But who's counting? It's 5 o'clock somewhere, is all I got to say. 9:09 to play. Drumheller under center. Second man through is Fikert. He stays in the game and will find a seam and only had one more man to miss, but he gets tripped up at the 38. Good gain, though, of 20. We've got a flag down. That's, as so often happens when you got some new bodies in the game, especially when they're eager about seeing some varsity action. So that'll be wiped out. Clock stops at 8:51. Now they'll wind it. Ball will be marked at the 15. Third down and second down and 20. They moved the down marker, but they shouldn't have.
I think the official's looking up at the clock keeper saying, why are you stopping the clock?
Yeah, I really don't think even. I guess technically it should when the offense, with the team that's ahead, commits a penalty, but really, I mean, good room on this side of the field. First down and more. Taken down at the midfield stripe is number 11, Ellis Hughley. So Hughley makes up for that 2-yard loss on the first carry with a gain of 35 and a first down for the Cardinals.
Beautiful run that time. Hit the hole hard. It's good to see the young guys get in. You know, they work just as hard in
for
practice.
Both teams. Yeah.
You want them to be able to have a little fun on a Friday night. And
certainly the both the JV and freshman programs for Scott County on a pretty good winning streak right now. Luke Colvin. Colvin, the fullback, going to take it to the house from 50.
the big man rumbling.
The big man gets to eat. 6'2", 229 pounds. And 48 with the extra point pending.
In Stanley, taking the extra throw, Henry Roja is the holder.
Definitely, I would venture to say Luke Colvin's longest run from scrimmage at the varsity level. He got some action last year with some injuries and things of that nature, but you mostly see him on defense. Stanley's kick is good for a 49-0.
Yeah, he does, but I tell you, he's going to be telling a lot of people tonight about that run.
Yeah, oh yeah. He's going to tell his kids and his grandkids.
Like Walker. Well, He won't know who that is, but he'll be.
Yeah, he'll say, I don't know who. The 44 reminds me of like Tom Rathman, I think.
Yeah,
Or the 49ers or something like that. Yeah. Moose Johnston, if he were 48.
I'm guessing he's going to say Derrick Henry, though. We got
Probably more of a
you
Derrick.
and I keep going
more
back,
of a Derrick Henry. McKee said that too. He goes, I use some horrible analogies with these kids. I say, I drop Walter Payton's name, and they go, who? You best read up, son, if you don't know who those guys are.
I can remember, about 6 or 7 years ago, because it just seemed like yesterday, but I was talking to my basketball team and mentioned Christian Leitner and none of them. And I said,
I mean, any self-respecting UK fan has to have enough hatred in his heart to know who Christian Leitner is.
I was shocked that none of them know who that was. But then I thought, well, I guess none of them were born in 92.
Christian Leitner, to his credit, has been a pretty good sport in recent years about that hatred from UK fans. He's participated. He's not minded being the butt of the joke. Deepest kickoff of the night to the 5. You don't want to lose the shutout on a long kick return, and holding on for dear life there, successfully shy of the 30 is Scott County, who came up there. Andrew Wilhite. Wilhite's making tackles on defense, making tackles on special teams. I always wish I could cut this player of the game trophy in pieces because I usually give out a couple of them. He's had an interception tonight as well.
And Dunbar still bringing out Conley. The young man has just played his heart out tonight.
He has taken the hits and kept coming back, as we've said. He's got 6.5 minutes to try to get his team on the board.
Yes, they only got 10 guys out on the field. He's looking to the sideline saying, bring somebody in. They're
Play clock is frozen at 25 for some reason. Complete. First down at the 40 or just shy.
Well, he's thrown some nice balls tonight. That was another good one.
It's the second defense for Scott County is going to have to hang on to this shutout. Saw that happen in Montgomery County last year. Montgomery scored on the last play of the game to avoid a shutout. You kind of hate that when you're SC. Another swing to the left, complete for again. Is it stripped? It's going to be Scott County ball, and that's what you want out of your defense. Who recovered it? Justin Stevenson? Yes, indeed, a sophomore. Takes it away to preserve the shutout.
The Scott County defense has been ball hawks tonight, whether it's breaking up a pass play or falling on a fumble or intercepting a pass, whatever the case may be. They have been all over it. And you're going to have some turnovers next week, I think.
Yeah, at least one. It's a tough assignment, but if you can take advantage of any mistakes that Douglas makes and you can control the clock. I mean, this is an offense that is capable of, winning the time of possession in a big way in a game like that, and that can be the equalizer. Good room on the corner again for Hughley. I think it's Hughley. Yes, it is. He's piling up the yards here in the fourth quarter.
And, Cal, to your point, if you're the favorite, which, Douglas will be next week, but if Scott County gets some drives, they score some touchdowns, and then all of a sudden it's, Douglas is like, we got to hurry because we're down 14-0, and then you make that mistake, and then Scott County gets another long drive.
Right, it can be demoralizing.
It can be demoralizing, and I'm sure that's exactly what they're talking about. The more first downs we get, that's the less time that Dane Key and Ty Bryan are on the field, or at least from an offensive standpoint.
Chip away at the stone is all you can do. And it's the best policy, I think, if you're Scott County. You keep them off the field. And they just haven't been able to win the battle at the point of attack the past couple of years with those, fully grown men that were playing up there for Douglas. But
that's a great tackle right there.
That was a nice stop against Hughley by Dunbar's number 29. Colton Turlington, 5'6.5", 137-pound sophomore. So some smaller bodies and younger guys in the game for both teams.
But that's what you want to see. If you're Dunbar's coaching staff, you see a guy like that come in and make an open field tackle, a young player, hey, there's a guy that we want to develop. And
Colvin, can he do it again? Inside the 5, down to the 1. I think he's going to be stopped there. Better give it to him one more time.
I was going to say,
let him finish the job. He's not careful. He's going to get some player of the game consideration. Not really, but that's a heck of an effort by a senior. First and goal from the 1. It won't be Colvin. It'll be a walk-in touchdown for number 24, Tristan Lloyd.
He's pumped up. Good for him.
This has been total domination by Scott County. That's what we've been waiting for.
Well, and it's a feel-good win. You got some young guys who are getting some touchdowns, and it's just what they need, to go, just like we said, to go into next week. Because that coaching staff, you've definitely jinxed him tonight, Cal.
Yeah, it's a different kicker. That's all. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. It's a different kicker.
The Scott County coaching staff will tell you that you're going to have 2 emotional games back to back. So this is something that you need.
Yeah, you needed a one that wasn't emotionally taxing.
Right.
They've been kind of on an every other week cycle. The loss to Franklin County, the shutout of Lafayette, the basically last-minute loss to Bryan Station, heartbreaker, and then a shutout more than likely of Dunbar. As that clock continues to run, we'll do the McDonald's, or in this case Burger King drive-through, since they're one of our sponsors, sign off to this game and get down on the field. But we'll thank you all for joining us. Thanks to James Scoggin for directing, producing, taking photographs, doing all that he does here, along with Mike Scoggin back at the office, Brett Smith for all his help this season. If you haven't checked out the Coaches Show that we've reintroduced, please do go to our YouTube page or to newsgraphic.com. This kickoff might happen before the horn, down to 36 seconds. Reminder, we won't be here next week. I will be at that Scott County Douglas game. Hope to see you all there. We should all travel well and cheer on these Cardinals. Kick is deep. Well covered again, as we've said all night. Great night for the special teams. You've mentioned Coach McIntyre and Coach Willard. Give a call to Coach Davis and his special teams crew. That is the ball game. Your final score, the Scott County Cardinals 55. The Paul Lawrence Dunbar Bulldogs, nothing. We'll see you in a couple of weeks for the Battle of the Birds, Scotty. It's been fun.
It has been. Looking forward to that one.
Until then, for everybody involved in this show, I'm merely Cal Oak saying good night. God bless. We'll see you on October 1st. Battle of the Birds, Scott County and Great Crossing. Great Crossing is going to be 5-0 going into that one. Good night, everybody.